Most pianists love and have a very deep relationship with Chopin.
When I play Chopin, I feel like people really listen more than any other composer.
For me, it is just a really special composer. It's very close to my heart.
This is such a special year. It's 2010, which is Chopin's 200th birthday, and I realized that I'm very lucky to be a young pianist at this time, and probably a chance like that is never going to happen again.
This is for the first time in my life that I am playing that much Chopin all at once.
No other competition would give you such an exact replica of Warsaw. This is just a perfect dress rehearsal, 8 months ahead of schedule.
To attend briefing session on Thursday. So here we are. And the main reason why we are here tonight is that we have to draw the order of the performance for the competition.
This is a very, very special competition. The fact that it's only open to the U.S. citizens. At the end of the day, we are picking the best.
This competition has grown tremendously in the last few times we've met. The level is higher. There's more proficiency, more professionalism about the young people coming in.
Blanca Rosenstiel has really founded something wonderful, and it has a very high esteem.
Again, it maybe in some ways it's a warm-up to the big show in Warsaw.
So who is the first one? Juna Sai.
Well, I was really excited to be coming back here again. I mean, you never know with competitions, so I was really happy to come back.
Daniela Bracchi.
Well, I think that a huge part of the importance of this whole competition is, of course, Chopin, and this being his anniversary year. Being able to spend so much time with the music and then be around other musicians who have made that commitment, I think is very important.
13, lucky number. Sean Chen.
Actually, I was at this competition 5 years ago. It's a pretty big deal. I mean, especially for U.S. citizens, because this is one of the only big competitions open only to U.S. citizens. Moreover, it leads to the international competition if you do well in this one.
Red Sheep.
I found out that I was chosen to participate after receiving a letter from the Chopin Foundation, and I opened it, and my dad looked over my shoulders, and he whooped and clapped me on the shoulders and ran upstairs to tell my mom.
Andrew Tyson.
As I opened the email, I had a lot of mixed emotions. When I saw that I was accepted, I was initially very delighted, but immediately anxious and stressed and fearful at the prospect of actually having to play all of the music that I said I was going to play in the application.
Number 2. Vihai Venkatesh.
I auditioned for the 4 scholarships that the National Chopin Competition has, and then after I felt like I was prepared for the competition, so I entered the competition and also the international competition.
Number 1.
Number 1, great.
What order are you?
I'm number 9 out of 19. So,
how do you feel about that?
I think it could be much worse. Generally, the earlier the number, sort of has kind of a bad luck charm to it in a way. Obviously, it's not really merited, but generally people prefer to be placed later. Because if I were 10 or later, it'd be another day, so you can kind of, I guess, get a little more well acclimated to things before you're actually performing.
What I hope to get out of this experience is the experience of playing Chopin in a competitive setting. There is some pressure, obviously, because everybody here is really amazing, and to be able to handle that pressure and to play without really worrying about it and just play what I have prepared and what I'm ready to play.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the 8th National Chopin Piano Competition. Welcome Vijay Venkatesh, the first contestant in our 8th National Chopin Piano Competition.
What I hope to get out of this experience is truly just releasing my expression for Chopin. Play my heart out is what Chopin always said about his music, so I'm just going to go out there and sing.
To be perfectly honest, it doesn't really matter being first or last to me. The thing that does matter is playing at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's really difficult, I think, for anybody, including the jury, to have to get there and sit at 9 o'clock in the morning, but that's just my personal opinion.
I was actually at this competition 5 years ago, and I placed third that time. If there was somebody that I would give advice to, it's just to focus on your own playing and play it as if it was your own concert and not to let the competition or the other competitors be on your mind.
When I'm on stage, my music, I try to make it as exciting as possible and to bring out this kind of really exciting moment that will make audience remember it for a very long time.
Every time you play on stage, you learn something new about yourself, and maybe even something new about playing the piano. And I mean, the jury is excellent, so I'm sure they'll have lots of interesting things to say.
The future of music is in our young artists' hands. Without their skills, without their talent, without their ability to bring the music to the rest of the country, where is music going to go?
Obviously, my mother taught me all the technique that I knew for most of my life, and she taught me to appreciate music and to really enjoy playing, not look at it as a competitive sport. And so I think the way my mother taught me from the beginning was very important to how I see the piano now and how I play and how much I enjoy it. So I'm very grateful.
I'm very proud of her.
This is for the first time in my life that I am playing that much Chopin all at once. So it's just a different world for me. I guess you can say one of the dreams came true.
In your opinion, what is the importance of this competition?
Very great importance to pianists because Chopin is the great composer for piano. Above all the other composers, he composed more for piano and he composed almost uniquely for piano. So for a pianist, this has very, very great importance.
Piano is a hard instrument because we don't get to carry our own around, We have to practice on one and then perform on another. So I think that is probably the biggest challenge of being a pianist, being able to adapt to your environment and to any concert hall or concert piano you have to perform on.
We are in the concert hall practically near whole day. And, I know that it's very warm and very humid. In concert hall it's very cold, much colder than in Poland right now.
And thankfully I started with my ballad, which gives me a little nice introduction where I don't have to be running around with my fingers.
I think you just have to get into such a deep level of focus and concentration that you're in the present moment. I find that a lot of times if I make a mistake, it's because I'm thinking back or thinking forward. When you're right in the present and just letting the music flow, I feel that that's when the best performances are made.
Very rarely does a performer ever say that the performance went perfectly well, so, there are some things that I could improve on, but I think generally it went fine.
I go purely for musical values, and I judge on the basis, was there poetry, was there magic? So I work much less from the technical side and much more from the emotional side, perhaps.
You have to train yourself when you're practicing to feel like you can get through the piece easily. That's a no-brainer. You have to be able to play the piece technically. And then once you have that part figured out, it really comes from a deeper place. As long as I'm connected to that part of myself, I feel like what I want to come out will come out. I just have to trust it, trust that connection.
One wonderful thing about most of the jury members here is that we all have performed, and so we know the difficulties of performing under strenuous circumstances.
Well, I have been practicing between 8 and 9 hours a day for most of the years of my long life. And it isn't all talent, because there are at least 2 people in this competition who have far more talent than I do. But they haven't lived as many years or worked as many years, and that's the big difference.
I feel very exhausted, and especially since our turnaround is only one day before we have to play another full concert. When we're not playing the concert, we're spent 6 or 7 hours trying to get the next concert ready. So it's very taxing. You'll probably see me kind of decompose in front of your lens as the competition goes on if I'm chosen.
It was sort of grueling. After I found out that I would reach the second round, I was like, oh boy, I gotta go practice. I spent a good part of yesterday and the day before yesterday working on my pieces, really trying to solidify them so that they're ready for performance.
Playing 45 minutes or 60 minutes or an hour and a half, it takes amounts of endurance because you're just concentrating so hard at every single moment. And if you don't concentrate, well, then it doesn't go very well.
The ultimate competitor is yourself. You compete against yourself because you want to do the best you can. It's not a perfect judgment, and it's very often a very subjective thing.
I was actually more excited to move on than to get into the competition because, well, I mean, it's kind of lame, but last time I came, 5 years ago, I was in the competition, I got past the first round. So I didn't want to, feel if I didn't pass the first round the second time, that'd be kind of like,
I don't have a teacher now, so sometimes I feel really worried about if what I'm doing is totally wrong or, if it's on the right track. And so it feels good to know that at least I'm on the right track.
Chopin is a very good introduction to someone that is not maybe familiar with music because Chopin goes directly to the heart.
It was my grandma who got me into classical music, so having her here must be really special for her to see that, the kid who hated classical music when she tried to get me to listen to it is now here playing all this Chopin.